All right, guys, welcome to the video here today for Thursday, June 30th, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do free sports picks right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And I have packages on that website starting at just $1.99. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content here. We're going to take a look at the Twins taking on the Guardians, 1:10 p.m. East. Cleveland's minus 160, totals 8.5. Shane Bieber for Cleveland, Chris Archer for Minnesota. Now Archer comes into today's ball game with some fairly decent numbers. He's got a 3.14 ERA along with a 1.22 whip. Twins have also won 5 out of their last 8 ball games, and they did score a considerable amount of runs in those victories. Now, Luis Arias, he's actually second in the majors right now with a 337 batting average. Seems like he's on base all the time. Meanwhile, Byron Buxton, he's 6th in the bigs with 20 home runs himself. Now, no real surprise here, guys. This Twins lineup finds themselves amongst the leaders in the American League in team batting average. They're taking on Shane Bieber here today, who actually has a losing record on the season right now. Matter of fact, out of 85 innings of work this year, Biebs got the W only 3 times. Meanwhile, offensively, the Guardians have experienced some troubles in certain areas. They're currently in the bottom 10 in team OPS, and they're also amongst the worst home run hitting teams in the game right now. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, 4 out of Cleveland's last 7 ball games at Progressive Field fell under the number. They're also 15-12 to the under against divisional opponents. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota plus 1.5 and the under 8.5 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Braves Phillies 6:05 East. Philadelphia is the $1.50 favorite at home, totals 8.5. Aaron Nola for the Titans, Ian Anderson for Atlanta. And even though Anderson's had a couple of rough outings, he does continue to get the W. He comes into today's ball game with a 6-4 record on the year, along with 65 strikeouts. Now, this Atlanta lineup, they're also real scary to go up against. They're in the top 5 right now in OPS at the dish, and they're also leading the entire National League right now in home runs per game. Austin Riley's got 18 homers on this season. Marcell Ozuna with 14. They're taking on Aaron Nola on the other side of things, who's actually got some really good numbers this year, but he just can't seem to get the W. The righty comes into today's contest with a 4-5 record. The Phillies have also dropped 6 out of their last 9 ball games, with 2 of those losses coming against Atlanta. Now, when it comes to the total, Philadelphia went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, the Braves on the other side, they saw 7 out of their last 10 ball games fall under the posted total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Atlanta plus 130 and the under 8.5. All right, next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Yankees taking on the Astros. And that's going to be a 6:10 Eastern start time. New York's minus $1.25 on the road, totals 8 runs. Luis Severino for New York, Luis Garcia for Houston. And even though Garcia has shown some really good stuff, he does have 5 losses already in 71 innings of work. The Astros have also struggled to score runs in recent meetings with New York. They're averaging less than 3.7 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Yankees. They also have to go up against Luis Severino here today, which is certainly a tall task. Severino's 4-2 with a 3.38 ERA. Now, Sevy's also got 87 strikeouts in just 72 innings, along with a 1.07 whip. Now, Sevy's backed by a Yankee lineup who just annihilates the baseball. New York's currently leading the bigs in homers, and they're also in the top 3 in scoring. And of course, Aaron Judge, he has a league-leading 29 home runs, along with 59 RBI. Judge is currently in the top 5 in OPS and that RBI category I just mentioned. Sorry, brain fart. I was trying to gather what I was trying to say to you. But anyway, Anthony Rizzo, he's right behind him with 20 home runs on the year. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, New York saw 6 out of their last 10 ball games fall under the number. Meanwhile, Houston went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward New York minus $1.25 and the under 8. Next matchup, it is going to be Brewers Pirates 7:05 East. Milwaukee's minus 130, totals 8.5. Adrian Hauser for the Brewers, JT Brubaker for Pittsburgh. Now, Brubaker's had a fairly tough year. He's just 1-7 with a 1.43 whip. He's also backed by a Pirates lineup who simply can't score runs. The Buccos are averaging less than 3.8 runs a game this year, and they're also in the bottom 3 in team batting average. They're taking on a Brewers team who does a nice job hitting for power. As a matter of fact, these guys are currently in the top 5 in the bigs right now in home runs. Now, Rowdy Tellez and Willy Adames, they've combined for 30 home runs between the two of them. Meanwhile, teammate Hunter Renfroe, he's hit 13 bombs on the year himself. Keep an eye on Renfroe. He has been banged up. Keep an eye to see if he's in the lineup here today or not. Now, total-wise, Milwaukee went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 outings. They're also 60% to the over in their divisional road games. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh saw 3 out of their last 4 at PNC Park get over the total. I'm going to lean toward Milwaukee minus 130 and the over 8.5. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Rays Blue Jays 7:07 East. Now, this game's currently off the board. No confirmed starter yet for Tampa Bay. Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto. And even though Kikuchi's having a fairly rough year, he'll most likely be going up against a spot starter here today for Tampa. Now, the Cooch man's also backed by a really good Toronto lineup who's actually leading the bigs right now in team OPS at the dish. Vlad Guerrero's hit 18 home runs, 46 RBI for the first baseman. Meanwhile, Alejandro Kirk leads the club with a .320 batting average. Now, they're going up against a Tampa squad who lost their last 2 straight themselves, and they actually played their worst baseball on the road. The Rays are currently in the bottom 5 in the bigs in road scoring, and they've averaged only 3.1 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Blue Jays. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Toronto Blue Jays winning this one outright for some money line cash. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be Reds Cubs, and that's going to be an 8:05 Eastern start time. Now, the Chicago Cubs are minus $1.25 at home. Totals 9.5 runs. Kyle Hendricks for Chicago, Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati, and even though Graham's looked dynamite in the early going here, the Reds are just not playing great team baseball. They lost 7 out of their last 10, and their pitching staff is allowing more home runs per contest than any other team in the majors. Now, they're taking on a Chicago club on the other side who won 4 out of their last 7, and they also scored a whole bunch of runs in those victories. Now, when it comes to hitting the baseball, Chicago is one of the better teams in the National League right now in home hits per game. Patrick Wisdom leads the franchise right now in home runs and RBI. Wilson Contreras, he's the team leader in batting average. When it comes to the total in this one, Chicago's 22-17 to the over at Wrigley Field. Meanwhile, Cincinnati went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean towards Chicago, the Cubs minus $1.25, and the over 9.5. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Padres taking on the Dodgers. That's going to be a 10:10 Eastern start time. LA's minus $1.25, totals 8 runs. Mitch White for Los Angeles, Joe Musgrove for San Diego. Now, Musgrove is having one heck of a season. He's 8-1 with a 2.12 ERA and a .95 whip. The Padres are also one of the best road scoring teams in the game. They're taking on Mitch White, who doesn't even have 30 innings of work under his belt this year. I know he's shown some pretty good production, but certainly lacks experience on the year. Now, the righty, he does come into today's ballgame with a shaky 4.25 ERA as well. And more recently, the Dodgers as a team, they did lose 3 out of their last 5 ball games, and that includes a couple of losses to the Rockies. They were actually shut out 4-0 in that series opener. Total-wise, LA's gone 17-8 to the under in their divisional contest this year. Meanwhile, San Diego's 60% to the under against the NL West themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Padres plus 105. And the under 8 runs. Of that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be A's taking on the Mariners. And that's going to be a 10-10 Eastern first pitch. Now, Seattle's minus 230, but the total at 7.5. Logan Gilbert for Seattle, Adrian Martinez for Oakland. And even though Martinez has just 5 1/3 innings of work under his belt, he has yet to allow an earned run during that short time frame. So I know that's a very, very small sample size, but you can't leave out the fact that they were really good innings. Now, Oakland also continues to cash in on run lines on the road. They're actually 26-14 against the number as the away team. That's good for 65% in that category. Now, they're taking on a Seattle squad on the other side who actually struggles to cash in on the run line themselves. Out of their 36 home games this year, they covered the 1.5 just 16 times. They also have one of the worst hitting lineups in the American League. They're currently in the bottom 10 in team batting average, bottom 5 in runs. When it comes to the total, Seattle's 19-13 to the under against the AL West. Meanwhile, Oakland went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the A's plus 1.5 and the under 7.5. With that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we have packages on that website starting at just $1.99. I'm going to lean toward the Twins plus 1.5, under 8.5. Atlanta plus $1.30, under 8.5. New York Yankees minus $1.25, under 8 runs. Milwaukee minus $1.30, over 8.5. I like Toronto getting the job done for some money line cash. Give me the Cubs minus $1.25, over 9.5. I like San Diego plus 105, under 8 runs. Give me Oakland plus 1.5, under 7.5. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, just a friendly reminder, if you do end up getting a membership here today on my website, I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is, well, welcome to the team. I am happy to have you here today. The bad news is Patreon does their billing on the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today, not only are you going to get billed today, you're going to get billed again tomorrow. So you may just want to hold off until July 1st. It's going to be your max value. Once again, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. Patreon bills you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Now, guys, if you do want to get access to every single bet, every single package, you may want to think about signing up for my board member tier. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most important, now real quick, guys, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on BrockPage.com is patreon.com/BrockPage. I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, guys, if you're concerned about me seeing your credit card information, don't worry about that because I can't see it. There's no way for me to access your credit card info. I utilize the Patreon platform. They handle all of your finances, all of your personal info. There's no way for me to see that. Your privacy is completely protected from me. The only thing I can see when you sign up is your email address. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.